Well, Doug Ford, the head of Ontario, Canada, is a master troll of Donald Trump. He just spent $75 million running ads all weekend in which he's reminding the American people during the World Series, no less, that it was once the great Ronald Reagan who said that tariffs were unpatriotic, that high tariffs to try to protect American business appears to be patriotic on its face. But the ad went on with Ronald Reagan saying, but it really undermines the American economy, to remind America what once a Republican president, a leader of that party at one time, once said. Donald Trump didn't like it. He got the Reagan Foundation and Library to say, oh, it's taken out of context. It's a copyright infringement and all of that. And he tried to cut off negotiations with Canada because he got trolled in an ad. Welcome to Saturday morning on Legal AF. Let's talk about Doug Ford, who's been a harsh critic of Donald Trump. Donald Trump really doesn't realize how Canada operates. Sure, there's a prime minister in Mark Carney, but, each province is led by a strong personality. In this case, Doug Ford. And he spent $75 million. Donald Trump didn't like it. Let me show you the actual ad so you know what I'm talking about, and the clip from Ronald Reagan that's out there. Let's play it. It's in the ad. It's public news. Let's go.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products.
That voice narrates the entire 1-minute ad, warning of the impact of tariffs.
Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
It ends showing the speaker, the late Republican president Ronald Reagan, from an address in 1987. Ford told the crowd it was his idea.
Let's take Ronald Reagan's words and let's blast it to the American people. And our first launch is going to be on every major network.
Now, Donald Trump responded in a late night post on social media by saying, tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA based on this egregious behavior. That ad. All trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Canada cheated and got caught. They fraudulently took a big buy ad, $75 million, saying that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs when actually he loved tariffs for our country. That's untrue. And it's national security. Canada has long cheated on tariffs, charging our farmers as much as 400%. Now they and other countries can't take advantage of the U.S. any longer. And then you had the Trump obviously pressured the Reagan Foundation and Library to come out and saying, well, our copyright was violated. We didn't give permission for it. Here's the entire speech. All right. Down below is the link for the entire speech. You'll find that in the context, Ronald Reagan, even though he was a hard bargainer and negotiator, did not raise worldwide tariffs above 20% or above 100% for places like China as part of his foreign policy. You can critique Ronald Reagan's foreign policy. You can critique his being involved with the illegal activities of the Iran-Contra scandal. You can critique whether he was fully there for the last several years of his administration, but you can't call him pro-tariff under any scenario. And I don't know why Donald Trump's so concerned. He doesn't respect the Republican ideals expressed by Reaganism. He's completely rejected Reaganism. Anybody who's a Reagan acolyte or a Reagan Republican, he attacks, he criticizes. He says they're rhinos, Republican in name only. He's completely scarred the memory of Ronald Reagan, not the leader of my party, but a leader of the Republican Party. He's tried to change history to make it all about Donald Trump. I mean, today, during a press conference or some sort of BS presser, you had Stephen Miller and somebody in his office saying, America was dying and you alone saved it. Let's play that clip.
Let me just say, Mr. President, that this country was going to die without you. This country was going to actually die without you. That's what we were facing in 2024. We've been invaded for 4 years. Our communities were sinking. Our public safety had gone to zero. Cartels were running entire communities. Sex trafficking, child trafficking, labor trafficking was out of control. Overdoses were out of control. The cartels were claiming more and more territory. City services were buckling. This was a country on the verge of dying, and you alone saved it. And when you stepped forward...
Now, the tariffs are all coming to a head. Because on the 5th of November, before the United States Supreme Court and the MAGA 6, there's going to be oral argument about whether Donald Trump properly imposed these tariffs pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. We call it IEEPA. And if he didn't have the power, because nowhere in IEEPA is the power to tariff. The word tariff with a T never appears in there. It was certain limited powers given by Congress to the president in times of emergency. What was the emergency? A 10 or 15 year trade imbalance that had been going on? Donald Trump doesn't even understand trade imbalance. When he set the tariffs, he did some phony math calculus that wasn't even a reflection of the true imbalance. And a trade imbalance isn't bad. Sometimes you have an imbalance on goods. Like in Canada, we had a slight trade imbalance for goods. But for services, we outnumbered them. When you put the collective together, it was about equal. And the reason we had a trade imbalance is because Canada has a lot of raw materials and rare earth minerals and elements that we need for our manufacturing process. They were the number one trading partner for us. They were the number one tourism dollar for us. No longer. And Donald Trump waking up to say, oh, Doug Ford ran an ad to make me look bad during the World Series. I'm going to cancel my conversations with Canada. Look how he makes decisions. Anybody concerned about this besides me? He's not going to send the National Guard into San Francisco because a bunch of tech bros told him, no, everything's fine in San Francisco. I don't know why you need to send it to San Francisco. This is how he makes decisions. Is the Ninth Circuit looking at this? Is the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals looking at this? This is how he makes facts on the ground. We're supposed to defer to his calling out facts on the ground because he talked it over with a couple of buddies that own NVIDIA or own Facebook or own Amazon or own Oracle. Come on. $1 trillion will be collected against small businesses in the form of tariffs. If the United States Supreme Court can grow some brass ones, they'll find that he violated IEEPA, just as the Court of International Trade found, just as the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals found, and will say, no, you went too far. You're not allowed to call an emergency and then use the emergency to set a tariff schedule against 130 countries. Congress is the one that sets tariffs. How do I know that? Because I know how to read the Constitution. Oh, I'm fired up. I'm glad you're here on Legal AF Saturday morning. Take a moment, hit that free subscribe button here. Now's the time to defend what we do on Legal AF, what we do on YouTube, what we do on our First Amendment of expressing ourselves, your First Amendment of being able to watch us. It's all being challenged. It's all being threatened. Hit the subscribe button. Come over to our Legal AF Substack for real-time reporting and content you can't find anywhere else. Over on Legal AF Substack and become a paid member for $6 or $7 a month. That's it. I'll overwhelm you with content, I promise you. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com. popokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.